South Korea, because I think their gross net domestic product, their GDP, was the same like around the 60s before Korea had become this largely Christian nation. But after Korea became a very Christian nation, their, as you know, economy just exploded, skyrocketed. Do you see a connection there too? Is Christianity, do you see it as one of the main reasons why they prospered so much compared to North Korea? Can you speak about that at all?
For example, South Korea was poorer than Kenya right after the Korean War. That means by 1960, from 1953 to 1960, South Korea was poorer than Kenya in Africa. And until 1967-68, South Korea was poorer than North Korea. And by 1980, South Korea was poorer than Mexico and Malaysia. But now South Korea is one of the G20 members. And I think the economic power in Korea is about, economic size is about 11th largest in the world. But concerning the question of Johnny, yes. While Korea was very poor, and I remember when I was a child, I saw a lot of beggars in the street in Korea. Then the church was growing. While the church was growing, they were praying very hard so that God would help them, God would really bless them financially and to be set free from the poverty. But you see, when you read the Bible, the whole Bible, among the people who were used by God, men and women of God who was used in the Old Testament, New Testament, I'm not talking about the ordinary people, but the people who are used by God, all in God, Old Testament, New Testament, nobody suffered from poverty. So not a single verse in the Bible says they suffered from poverty. But they suffered from some trials, but they never suffered from poverty. For example, Abraham, Moses, Isaac, Jacob, all they were rich. And also Paul, Saint Paul, he suffered a lot, but he had enough finance with which he could support his followers and his co-workers. And he said, I will never like to be a burden in your church. So, and the Bible teaches very clearly that our being, prosperous spiritually and physically and financially is God's will. But if we are greedy just to be rich for ourselves, but I don't think God is happy to bless us. But if that means we should work hard to be rich and to be generous, to help others. But now, for example, concerning South Korea, now South Korean Protestant history is only about 130 years old. But South Korea is now second largest missionary sending our country in the whole world, right after USA. That means without money, you cannot send out missions. But I say concerning his question, I believe the great rapid financial growth of South Korea has something to do with their hard prayer and trusting in Jesus Christ. That's what I believe. And many economic leaders in the West, Europe and America and Japan, they say same word. They say concerning very rapid financial growth of South Korea, we cannot understand, they say. And the economic leaders, professors in economy, they say, we cannot understand what is behind of this rapid growth of finance in South Korea, economic growth. That is only a miracle, they say. Well, of course, some people say, just, education has a very big role of this. But even though they say education alone cannot be an answer, so therefore they say that is only a miracle. Yeah. So that means when we trust in God, He is performing miracles.
Wonderful.
Now, I heard a very interesting preaching yesterday by a Korean American from Pasadena. He's pastoring one of the largest churches in that area. He said when he came to Pioneer Church in Pasadena, which is near from Los Angeles, then there were a lot of criminalities there. And a lot of people are being murdered and a lot of crimes in Pasadena. But nowadays, the rate of criminality and the killing in Pasadena is one of the lowest in whole USA. Then he says, why? Because of the churches are really growing; they become very influential and powerful in the area. Well, that's what I heard yesterday, but I have not seen the churches over there. But that's what I heard.
Thank you. Yeah, I think I saw Julia's hand. No, because I was thinking that in South America a lot of states are very Christian, but they are still like poor or less rich than Europe.
In my country, like Christian economically are on the totally on the bottom of the society. Not because they're Christian, because they're like that's the way they are. Like most of the jobs that they do, they're like, so they know the message of the Lord and they know about the Jesus. And we are like majority are Muslims, but still we enjoy enjoy the higher economic level than them, a better lifestyle. So I wonder why Jesus is not helping them.
No, okay, let me just say. Your name, please? Your name? Julia, excuse me, Julia. Julia, from Italy. You see, I visited Mexico once for about 1 week to preach. Then I have met a lot of people from South America. And then concerning your question, I think I have a clear answer. Even though there are a lot of Catholics in South America, well, I'm not talking about which denomination is better than the other. No, that's not what I'm talking about. Catholic or whatever, Protestant denominations, important thing is your personal relationship with Jesus Christ. That means not only Catholics but also among a lot of Protestants, they are nominals. They are attending church. They are members of a local church, but many of them, they have no personal relationship with God through Jesus Christ. That means they are nominally religious members of the church. That means not everyone, not all who are attending church are Christians, because many people are attending church ritually, habitually, traditionally, religiously. Concerning Nobel Peace Prize given from Norway, and the other five the 5 in the peace, chemistry, etc. from Sweden. There's a very interesting statistics. Throughout over 100 years of Nobel history, among all those Nobel Prize winners, at least 22% of those winners are Jews. And then about 67%, about 65-67% of these Nobel Prize winners throughout the history, they are Protestants. And the rest from other groups. Then, the population of Jews are only, I think, about 0.02% of the whole population in the world. But the number of the Nobel Prize winners of Jews are over 22%. Then, interesting thing is also most of these Jews who got Nobel Prize, they were born and educated and brought up in the Protestant countries. So, I'm not talking about which religion is better, but the important thing is if we have really believing the truth honestly from our heart, so then I believe God is helping us. So about South America, so
yeah, maybe that's the reason why Italy is losing a lot of money. Because we are losing a lot of Catholic believers.
Start believing. Start believing.
Julia, this is not only about Catholic, but also among a lot of Protestants.
Yeah.
Many of them are also very nominal and traditional, without having personal relations. For example, while I was pastor in Wisconsin for 5 years, then I held a Bible study. Then the elderly people who are aged over 80, 85 years old, then these Americans, they have German background or Norwegian English background. Then after Bible study for a few months, they said to each other, "Oh, we haven't never heard about this kind of teaching," they said. Now, I was really shocked. You see, I taught them very simple, basic message from the Bible during the Bible study and discussion, of course. Then about salvation, the way of salvation, etc. Then these grandfathers who are aged over 85 or over 85, they came. They just came forward to in front of the congregation during the worship service on Sunday. Then they spoke and they testified about what they had learned. Then they said, "I have been a Methodist for over 50 years. But I heard this kind of teaching for the first time." That means even among a lot of Protestants, they are just habitual and traditional.